Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I just opened up the brand new flip phone from Motorola, the Razr Plus, which is their flagship flip phone. However, they also do have a model called the Razr as well, which we are going to take a look at. I'll link to the Razr Plus unboxing video down in the description, but there are some differences between these two phones. The first one being price, $1,000 for the Razr Plus and $700 starting. I will also link to all the pre-order deals down in the description. It actually goes up for pre-order on July 10th. In this video, we're gonna take a quick look what comes in the box of the Razr, then put it side by side with the Razr Plus, talk about the differences, and see, is the Razr Plus actually worth $300 more? Let's get started. Here's the 2024 Razr from Motorola. Opening it up, it does say plastic-free packaging. Love to see that. Let's see what we get. Inside this box, we do get a few things, including our standard booklets, a SIM ejection tool, and finally, a USB Type-C to Type-C cable. And last in the box is our Razr. Do not remove the pre-installed screen protector. That makes a lot of sense. Let's dive into it. Opening up our plastic. Can I just slide this out? Oh yeah, we're gonna do this very nice and easily. And flipping it over, check out that sleek color. There's actually a lot of really good color options for the Razr and Razr Plus. So this is actually the Spritz Orange, which I think is my favorite of the regular Razr colors. But anyways, I'm gonna boot this phone up for the first time, and while it turns on, we're gonna take a closer look at this hardware. With that upgraded hinge closed, you'll see it sits very flat, folded in half. Along the left side is where that SIM card slot is. Down at the bottom, you've got a lot of microphones, USB Type-C port, one of our speakers, and then along the right side here is where that power button and volume rockers are with another microphone. And again, with that hinge, there it is, fully open. It sits completely flat and closed. On the back is a close look at that color. It says Razr with the Motorola logo. There is some grip to this vegan leather back as well. And then I want to point out, flipping it over to the front here, not only the camera is your front screen, but this has the exact same texture as the back of the phone, so that when you flip it up, it pretty much flows pretty seamlessly. And speaking of those two cameras on the front, you do get the same 50 megapixel main camera as the Razr Plus, but the secondary lens is different. You actually get a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle lens as opposed to a 50 megapixel 2x telephoto lens. So a bit of a difference in the camera systems. Anyways, I'm going to run through the startup process, talk about anything noteworthy, and then we'll put the Razr Plus side by side. That power button has an integrated fingerprint scanner, so to set that up, just set our thumb on down or whatever finger you'd like to set up. I do really like the vibration motor in this phone, actually. It does feel very premium. Almost there. You can have touch to unlock, so when you touch it, it goes straight to the home screen or to unlock your notifications on the lock screen. It's up to you. You can add more if you'd like. And just as a PSA, to protect your Razr, there is water resistance. Make sure there's nothing in between when you close your phone, and just a couple of other warnings. All right, we have Motorola's custom software on top of Android. There's a lot of different things to personalize. The Moto app has a ton of shortcuts, gestures, and you can add a Moto account. But if we did want to go into personalize, you'll see icon-shaped themes, lock screen, external display. There's customizations. We're going to dive into all of that in just a second. But let's grab our Razr Plus and take a quick look side by side at the difference. So if I hold it like this, you're not really going to notice a difference, correct? They look the exact same. But if you flip it over, that's where you'll start to notice the difference, is with that front screen being 3.6 inches as opposed to 4 inches. The Razr's external display goes up to 90 hertz of refresh rate, whereas this is a 120 hertz refresh rate, maybe even 165 if you're playing games. Not only that, brightness is different, 1700 nits on the Razr versus the 2400 nits brightness on the Razr Plus. So obviously just a big difference in the bezels overall and with the screen size. And if we wanted to flip them both open, take a look side by side. Both phones have a 6.9-inch POLED display. It looks really good. However, the refresh rate's a little bit different. On the Plus, it's 165 hertz, whereas you get 120 hertz on the Razr. And it does seem like it's enabled out of the box. It's still installing some apps. It feels, you know, not quite as snappy maybe as the Razr Plus. You'll see display refresh rate set to high. You can force it to 60 Hertz though if you'd like to save some battery life. Anyways, that front screen you're going to get a lot of use out of. You can check all of your notifications. You can even respond and type. So if we go into the Messages app and we start a chat, you'll notice this keyboard pop up. So if we want to say hi there, obviously a little bit easier to type on the Razr Plus with the larger screen, but you can swipe up. Now, if you wanted to go into full screen mode, you can press and hold this bottom button and it will actually go around the camera. It doesn't seem like the messaging app does it. Let's open a different app. So if we're in the Google Maps app and I press and hold that home button, there we go. You'll notice it goes all the way around so I can, use two fingers, use it like a normal screen. It actually is really cool how useful this front screen is. Swiping down will get to a bunch of different shortcuts. You can turn on the flashlight, you can turn on battery saver without even flipping open the phone. There's apps. You can customize what apps show up and you have all of them. So you can pretty much add any app you want to run on that front screen, including some games. So if we go continue through dial pad, agenda, there's weather there, and here are some games that you can actually play on the front screen. There's some really fun ones there. Really nice to just be able to quickly check the weather when I want to. But these widgets, you can actually customize them. So there's a group of different ones if you'd like to. Continuing through, if you pinch in, you can reorder them, edit them. You can add more if you'd like to. All right, let's flip it on open because there are some more differences between the Razr and the Razr Plus. Now the processors inside are different. You get the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 in the Razr Plus, and then the Dimensity 7300X from MediaTek in the Razr. Now there's going to be a difference in speed and GPU power between these two CPUs and just some of the features we'll notice in general. Also, the Razr has 8 gigs of DDR4X RAM, whereas the Razr Plus has 12 gigs of DDR5X RAM, plus that base storage of 256 gigs. It's UFS 2.2 on the Razr, and then UFS 4.0 on the Razr Plus. Motorola also says that battery life will be similar on the two devices. However, the Razr has a little bit larger battery at 4,200 milliamp hours versus 4,000, but the Razr Plus charges faster at 45 watts versus the 30 watts on the Razr. Let's go into that camera app and snap just a couple quick pictures. See the shutter speed. Seems to be a little delayed in the viewfinder. You can use apps in a folded mode. You can set it how you want to. That hinge feels very good, very premium. Pretty much the same as the Razr Plus. Now you can press 1.5x to utilize that ultra wide angle lens that the Razr Plus does not have. But if you do press 2x here, that will zoom in. However, that is all just digital zoom. Something absolutely worth mentioning in video. So you go to 4K here and you only have the option for 30 frames per second. If I actually switch it to 60 frames per second, you'll notice it goes back to full HD, so that 1080p resolution. So when you switch to 4K, it'll bump it back down to 30. So whereas the Razr Plus can shoot 4K 60 frames per second. Otherwise, you get a lot of great useful features such as a portrait mode, a pro mode to really customize your shot, and then going into more, here is all of the various settings, including that 50 megapixel, take full advantage of its spot color, tilt shift. And don't forget the biggest reason to have a flip phone is that preview on that external display, so you can just use the volume button and take a quick picture. Now you also can tap it again and it will turn into a smiley face, which might be nice for having some kids, and then you can just turn it back off. That fingerprint scanner feels very quick and snappy. Let's go to the lock screen, set it down. There you go. Now you can create with AI, so you can create with a picture. So if you take a picture of something, it will actually style a background. So maybe you take a picture of your clothes or maybe a plant that's next to you. This takes a little bit. And there you go. So that is from that plant, a wallpaper. There's another one and another one. So kind of cool that you can, customize your style, and also Magic Canvas. I'm not signed in right now, but you can type and input prompts to create a wallpaper. And a really big one is that external display. You want to take advantage of it. It's what you're going to be looking at a lot of the time. So with the lock screen, with the panels, all of those settings, apps, now sleep display here, you can actually have an always on display. Huge upgrade, really glad Motorola added that. So when it is locked, it will actually show the clock. There you go. There's a quick example of what the always on display can look like. And don't worry, that is completely customizable. Also, desk display is a lot of fun. You can use it when in tent mode or stand mode. So what it's going to do, let's turn that on. You can show the clock or text and picture carousel. So what happens is, let's say we have it locked and I have it sitting down like this. It's going to show just a little image and go through whatever customization that I had applied. And of course, with that lock screen, to truly customize it, you can change your wallpaper, different clock styles, different colors of that clock, and the blur. Now, I will say this is how you actually customize that always on display. You'll notice when I lock the screen and it goes to that always on display, it kind of keeps that same format. So whatever style you choose as the lock screen is what is the style of that always on display. So anyways, as you can tell, a lot of similarities between the two devices, but also some main differences, of course, with that camera, with the chipset that's used. But drop a comment. Let me know if you think that the Razr Plus is worth the $300 price point extra than just the regular Razr. But anyways, that's it from me on the Motorola Razr. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe, a lot more content coming soon. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.